screen capture or anything, or just audio? It's just audio.
About time.
Okay, I think we are there. Probably. Hopefully. We see. Okay,
I
yes.
hope so.
Yeah. I mean, Doctress is saying that it's working. Oh, I am getting audio because I think I have this going. Yeah, off with that. There we go. Okay. I hope that the connection is actually working because my internet has been really spotty this evening. But if it becomes too much of an issue, everybody let us know, and we'll go for Plan B instead. Yeah, and we should have Patrick, who is the sound designer, joining us in a moment as well. We'll see. Maybe he is having trouble finding the link, but he's off to fend for himself at the moment. Hello everybody, hello to, lots of people. Hello to Harrison, hello to Kevin, hello to Doctress, PK, Artist Unknown, the Vault Hunter, always ready for another stream, Wafer Cake, and Nicola, hi, and Pumpkin, good day. Are you asking if there'll be more streams, Nicola? Yeah, I don't know, but we were just chatting about it. Maybe there will. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe.
And
Maybe we'll do a music one.
Yes. Let's get introductions out of the way. The other voice that you are hearing here is Matthew, who has been doing the composing all of the music for Tales of Zale, both this newest episode and all of the previous ones. Hi, Matthew.
Yep, hello. Thanks for having me. It's been a crazy ride since Tales of Zale version 1, maybe even version 0.
Well, no, version 0 was was in 2011. That was before we knew each other. That was a really bad one. Really long ago. Yeah.
Looking back on it, I think
Yeah.
we have been working on projects since around that time, so
Yeah.
I'd say it's almost been 10 years, huh?
Yeah. I think it came right about that time. That was when we were starting to do the animation tournaments, Nata, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
The real Zale, aka my dog who tries to look like Zale, just showed up. She just jumped in.
Oh, that's such a shame we don't have the webcams on in that case. Oh.
If you have the Google thing, I could turn it on really quick.
Yeah, okay, let's...
On stream.
Oh, and we have Patrick joining in. He just needed permission to join. Well, yeah.
Oh,
We have... Hello! We're just showing off dogs at the moment. We saw a glimpse. It's a good dog. No.
Okay.
Great.
Say something?
Talking? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so I mean, yep. Let's see, let's do microphone, HyperX. Meow, hello, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Local mic test, hello. Everyone say mic test, 1, 2, 3 for me.
Mic test 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Is
Hello.
Patrick still there?
Hello. Patrick is still here.
Okay.
Okay. I put Sif Savory, creator, director, and then your Twitter, my name, composer, at my name, Patrick's name, sound designer, at Dr. Mindflip. We want to change that.
No, I think...
Is that fine?
All good.
Are you guys cool with that?
Can you hear Patrick?
Okay.
Because I
Stream
can't
key.
hear Patrick. Oh, Patrick is done. Gone.
Okay, so stream key.
I guess we'll see.
Could you maybe give me that image?
Which one?
Never mind. Don't give me that image.
Huh?
The stream one.
Oh yeah. I'll send
The
that
stream
over.
one you have.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. I was just drawing it live, so I didn't finish it entirely. But let's see.
What service is this? Is it?
OBS?
Never mind. I think I got it.
Yeah.
The stream key.
Can
I
you
got
hear
it.
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, there seems to be some delay. Okay, and Patrick is also writing. And I can't find what I'm doing. Great. Go into the documents folder.
Just send me that image.
Yeah, it is being sent now. And
So plan B is me streaming it this time.
yes.
Ah, cool.
Yep.
I think we should be good then.
Okay,
Cool,
so
cool.
this, I'm going to kill this background, and I'm going to add a new background.
Oh, and just in case, my internet can be a little patchy, so if I disappear or if I'm really hard to hear, let me know and I'll like
It's
stop
great.
until it gets better, I guess.
Matthew, we just need you to be the one with the solid internet, because neither of us are that. Internet connection issues.
Hello, Sif. Congratulations on the episode launch, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a whole week now.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found it like long or short, or am I? Yeah.
I think let's talk about that sort of thing in the stream. Those are questions that we can cover there as well.
I'm just warming up. I'm just warming up.
How's it looking, Matthew? Are we going live in a moment?
Yes. I need to make the font white.
Yeah.
Or not white.
I mean, we can make small adjustments on the way as well, probably.
I got it.
Okay.
We're so close.
Yeah. Let's go. People are waiting patiently.
I know. I'm a professional. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm a professional. You know what I did for my job? I had to do 2 internal game trailers. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Tales of Zale. Filters. Is this not connected to the right stream key? I think that's the problem I'm having right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's supposed to be live, then it does not seem to be so. But I did paste the right stream key. It is for sure this one.
Alright, we're going. I'm trying to go live. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
Cannot access specified channel stream key. That's correct. Maybe connecting to server. Dang it! We were so close. Okay, hold on. Stream key, show, stream key, connect account, server, service, custom, server. Okay.
Maybe it's because. Okay.
I think we're back.
Let's see. I can't see it yet, but it might still be there. Might just take a little while.
It's back.
Is it?
They said it's back. Yep.
Oh, Okay, I just need to reload my my live streaming.
Plan B is back.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I have terrible internet connection, so now we are streaming from Matthew's end.
Yep.
Yeah.
I quickly. Yep, I quickly put this together in that time. So let's go.
Very good. It's good we were somewhat close to being prepared for this, or at least mentally prepared for it.
So I am like right in the middle of moving, and right now I'm in Copenhagen just to do an exhibition. But otherwise, my home in Viborg should be the place where I set stuff up and everything. So I'm just working from my phone internet and my slow computer and trying to do a live stream in the midst of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Let's
yes.
reintroduce Patrick again since he
Yes.
just joined.
Hi, Patrick. Oh no, did he leave it? Oh no.
This is awesome.
Well, Patrick did warn that he would have a slow internet connection. I swear Patrick is real. He's not a figment of our imagination. Okay, I think maybe we just jump into reading the chat for a little bit and see if Patrick returns. I missed some stuff, but we had some nice comments from Wafer Cake saying the soundtrack and the sound design was absolutely beautiful, as well as the animation. It was in complete awe. This is such an amazing project, and I really hope to see more. Thank you a lot, Wafer Cake. And yeah, a lot of people are saying congratulations. Thank you, everybody. Book is asking for a plushie. That is like the life goal, I think. I think we need about 70,000 more followers and fans of the series before we can start getting that into motion. But hey, we are 1/8 of the way there, so that's progress definitely. Did we have Patrick joining now?
I heard.
Hello, yes.
Oh,
A
there we
little bit
go.
of internet patchiness here, but hi everyone.
Hi, Patrick. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, how are you doing, everyone? I am Patrick. I'm based in Ireland, and I was really delighted to work on the Foley and sound effects with Nick and Sif and Matthew here.
Yes. Awesome. And yes, Matthew, you are in the US, right?
Yeah.
On the where? Well, no,
I'm based in Los Angeles, California.
yeah, that side. Yes,
Yes.
that the west side. Yes, that's the one, right? Yes, my geography is great, and I myself am calling in from Denmark.
Cool.
Good.
There's a few questions here. The Bald Hunter says, "Great stream. See you in like 4 to 6 years again."
Yeah, I'm not good at streaming regularly.
Or I think they mean like there was a couple of years between the episode 2 and episode 3. It was like a whole James Cameron Avatar situation.
Yeah, I think we were up to 7 years. It just took me 7 years to get this little 12-minute animation done and everything. Well, to be fair, I did restart it halfway through. That's a whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is that I dug through some messages that we were DMing on like Twitter and Discord, and I found some messages from like 2017, 2018 when we were talking about this new episode. We were catching up on. You were sharing with me some sketches, some sketch animations, and we were just talking about plans for the music. So I mean, this has been in the works for a very long time.
Yeah, there's been time to mentally prepare for it. That's for sure. Like, I think I pitched what my thoughts were on the music like 3 times to you before we got started. Like over the years. Yeah, things change a lot. Yeah.
Mike Harton asked, "Why did you choose for Zale to have an orange coat?"
Well, I mean, he's a fox first and foremost, but I guess a question would be why he doesn't have the white that foxes usually have as markings, and that to begin with was just animation, making that easier for myself. And another thing was that I didn't like the look of him when he got that sort of markings on him, because and that made his character look very different, and it's difficult to do an original fox design within the parameters of white belly, But mostly it was just because that was a whole lot of extra hassle to draw, and then that kind of design just stuck. He got some extra markings underway on his legs and on his ears. Another thing is that, like, if we're just talking about why he should get an orange coat, it is very helpful with an orange character in a world that's mostly green and blue. So, it helps make the character stand out color-wise a lot. And orange is a nice color.
Awesome. Yeah, and I just read a book about foxes a few months ago before we were in touch about this, and there was a particular condition where foxes are, I can't remember the name, but it's super, super rare, where they're like really, really, really dark black fur and like inverted colors, like black and orange, I think.
Yeah,
I have to look this up and remember what it was, but it was awesome.
There are some amazing coat colors for foxes. Like they've been bred for a long while for their coats as well. So like when you're looking at foxes in captivity, there's like a big variety in what sort of coats they can have. And when I was designing Zale, I was also looking at a lot of fox cup pictures, and a lot of those fox cups didn't quite have the markings defined yet, so that was kind of my reasoning for why why I could get away with having a fox nut with markings on and everything. Yeah. Oh, we have Josh
this
joining
maybe
in.
says more about. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No. Please go ahead.
Pardon me. No, I was just going to say that this maybe says more about me and my attention than it does about anything else, but I love foxes. I'm obsessed with them. And just now is the first time that I realized that kind of typical white marking isn't in Zale.
Well, that's great that it doesn't draw too
time.
much attention to it, that it's missing. I will say, like,
No.
when I first started Tales of Zale, a lot of people thought that Zale was a dog as well. But like over time, as my way of drawing him has evolved, most people know that he's a fox from the start. I'm not sure what it was that flipped that switch. To like it's a lot with the shape language, I assume, as well. But he seems to be getting by and getting read as a fox now for the majority of people, at least.
We have some questions. People are very excited. It seems like I'm just gonna start. I'll help mediate here.
Okay,
so what
you.
was the hardest part to do?
Thank you.
What was the hardest part to do? Making a whole animation from scratch is the hardest part for all of it. But I will say, like, a few challenge areas is, well, one thing was to just mentally go through doing cleanup on the whole animation. I luckily had some people, Josh is in the chat, he was one of them, helping out on that's Joe Lumia, by the way, helping out on some of the cleanup shots. But even so, cleanup just takes double the time that animation takes, at least. And it is it can get very tedious. And I saved most of it for last because I wanted to go through each production part. And that was the only part in the production where I was like, oh no, can I please just give up and just leave this? Because, that was mostly just me cleaning up this thing for a very tedious half year. Another challenge area was the compositing, like not composing, but compositing, which is like taking the animation into After Effects and giving it those last effects and color grading and everything. Just because I had a very different plan in mind for how the look would be in the beginning. I was going for a lot more desaturated look. But about half a year into compositing, I was just figuring out that I thought that the look was pretty boring, as it were, mostly because I didn't really have the sensibility to create some values and some colors that were interesting to look at just flatly. So I ended up having to redo compositing a few times just to reinvent the look in post-production for the colors and everything. Okay, that was my answer to that.
And so as far as music, what's always very difficult, and what people don't understand as much about film music and animation music is that music has to be done when the edit of the film is pretty final. Because let's assume we had an orchestra record for this. Um, if we had hired an orchestra to record for the film, and then let's say Sif decides, oh, we're going to cut this whole scene out, then it throws off the timing of the entire thing. So music has to wait until the end of it to make sure that all the timing is locked in. Otherwise, there's a lot of reworking to do, and it's impossible to go back and re-record. Luckily, I use a lot of virtual instruments. I record myself. Other people, we didn't contract the full orchestra to do this thing. I did it mostly at home. So that's that. That just comes with the territory. And the hardest thing I think in general for me for this project was probably writing the song at the end. Songwriting is something I just don't do that often. So going back and trying to find my songwriting roots, it was quite a challenge. We iterated on it back and forth. It was actually one of the first things I worked on before starting writing from zero, basically. And that's it for me.
How about you, Patrick?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess. I think the hardest thing for me was. I think the easiest way to explain it is with that clip from The Simpsons where they're making the Radioactive Man movie, and backstage they see these stagehands and they're painting all these horses with kind of black spots like cows, and the kids ask them, why are you using horses instead of cows? And they go, yeah, cows don't look like cows on film.
Yeah.
And that is so much the case when it comes to sound design.
Yep.
So much the case that and I think very much what I was doing initially was maybe overcomplicating, overworking sound effects that were quite fundamental, like say Zale's paw prints, things like that, and the surfaces I was using. And like I built a whole terrarium of different sounds for the paw prints, and I was like playing it like an instrument here with my desk covered in clay here, like, and in the end it was just it was not fitting with the flow, and it just required stripping down those little layers. And once that happened a few times, I kind of just got used to it, and I realized that this was more of a kind of a zoning in on the sounds that, say, Sif would have spent so much time seeing and feeling and going with the flow of these movements. And that's kind of what I had to try and tap into and to sync up with. And I just found that by swimming through lots of different little bits and pieces with some great feedback and patience from Sif as well.
Yeah.
I think the feedback from Sif is really important. Like, obviously, Sif wants us to be the creative people we are, to do what we do. But at the end of the day, a lot of creative direction, a lot of what's going on in her head, like we're basically an extension of her creative ideas. And that's something that a lot of people in the film and video game industry like have a hard time learning at first, right? As you keep doing it, as you grow and build relationships with other creative people, you start to become more comfortable and you start vibing off of each other. And I think this team as a whole, like, even Nick and the others as well, like, there's good vibes all around, and it resulted in something awesome.
Yeah. Notes is just part of life. There's so much synchronizing and getting, just trying out stuff and getting on the same page and just finalizing and fine tuning to the right spot.
Yeah. There was a lot of experimentation all around.
Yeah. We don't come with the right, all the answers from the beginning always. Sometimes something new just pops up, and
Sounds
that's cool.
like what the song is about.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a whole theme.
So we have more questions. Let's see if we can see if what people are asking us here. So Vault Hunter asks, so where's the merch? I got like $20 there waiting.
Oh, there is merch this time around. I think there should be a link in the stream to the shop.
Okay.
It's not a lot of merch, but there is some, and it's cool.
It's beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eve123 Princess asks, "Did the bison die?"
I don't know if I want to answer that. Like, I mean, we can say he moved on, but I also think that the ending, a very important part of the ending, is that it is an ambiguous. Like, yeah, of course, there's elements of him passing on, but I also want people to take their own meanings from it in terms of what that thematically means, and what that means to the bison, and what that means to Zale, who is moving on, and that whole everything that reflects that in different ways.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
So
Yeah.
what's really cool, actually, I can scrub through the video that's somewhat transparent for the stream, so moved it over to the bison.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Cool, awesome stream stuff.
Yeah. Fancy.
Doctress wants to say...
Actually, that oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My latency here. I was just going to say that ambiguity is something that I really, really loved when I saw the first edit of the episode as well. That was something that really kind of touched something in me, like leaving that little bit of space for the communication and the reaction and the interpretation. And yeah, it's the more I saw it, the more little moments I saw that brought that up in me. That same thing that is being asked there.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like the sort of stories that don't hand you all the answers, but where you kind of get to decide for yourself as a viewer. So that's something that I just wanted to have in this. I felt that was very, very important to both the story and the theme, and to where Tales of Zale is at as a project as well, and yeah, everything. Yes.
The Doctress was asking what was the most fun part about making music like this. I mean, like I said, I think it was just experimenting and trying different things, and really just kind of going crazy with different ideas, stepping away from what traditionally is done. I think that was the most important thing. But the most fun was all of the backwards regression stuff was really great. Like, it sparked so many cool ideas, and I have to give 100% credit to Sif for that idea, because she was like, we're going to have the Enter the Ruins theme, and that song is going to be great. It's going to be cool, montagey, and then we're going to do that backwards, because he's like leaving and reflecting on things, and it's like, wait, what do you mean? And she was like, well, literally, what the temp track I had there was that it was reversed, like literally backward, playing in reverse. And that sparked a whole bunch of cool ideas for the entire soundtrack, so that made it really fun.
And you really ran with that. Like, it's like there's so many cool details in the little ways that it's written, and at some points we'll have to break down.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a music stream. So, Harrison asked question: will the story ever explain how this dystopian world came about, and will a human being ever grace the series screen? Yes, love the series. I think someone needs to catch up and watch some of the minisodes in the previous episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, there aren't any humans there either, but I think to answer your questions, I'm gonna steer clear of spoilers and just keep it vague. But as a creative decision, I can say, no, there's not gonna be any humans seen in this film, because if I were to introduce humans, our perspective would immediately start gliding over to the humans, because we can relate to humankind, humans more, since we are humans and everything. And I do feel that would create a little bit of it would take away from the emotional life of these animals, and like everything we're building up with them as characters. So it's not the sort of world where we're gonna see the human perspective. As for what happened, and if we're ever gonna figure that out, I think I'll leave that open. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a few questions relating to, what were some of your inspirations when making this? How did you come up with the story and characters? And the one most recently, what gave you the inspiration to tell the story about the fox and the owl? So I think basically, where does the inspiration for Tales of Zale come from? Like, were there any inspirations for characters specifically? I think people would like to know um,
Hmm.
where that inspiration for Tales of Zale as a whole comes from.
Well, I mean, it has had a long time to kind of, what would you say, like ferment and develop, and but I can talk about like from the very beginning. Um, it was actually a little bit when if we are looking all the way back at Tales of Zale from 2011, the thing that made me want to say, "Hey, I'm gonna do a fox story," is because I had just had a very vivid dream about a fox in a very desolate landscape, and I really wanted to explore that through animation. And the very simple reason why there's a barn owl in it is because I was really into Guardians of Gahul at that time. And then things kind of just develop from there, and ideas evolve and start building on each other, and I gain more inspirations over time. There's always like a little reference, character reference for all the characters. Brune the bison in this episode, my two references, character references for this guy, both in terms of his acting and his voice acting and all that, was the rock biter from the Never Ending Story, and Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And then I tried to merge those two together to kind of get that character, and that was kind of the pitch I gave to the voice actor when he was acting for him. Um, for this story's inspiration, I mean it's a long story, but I can say that it came about around 2015 when I was just finishing up episode 2, and it came about from the feeling of kind of waiting for your life to begin and waiting for some sort of intangible permission to move on with everything. And it was something that was very real to me and very frustrating to me at that time, that I really wanted to try and reflect, even if it had to be in a very ambiguous way, because it was a very ambiguous feeling. I wanted to try and put that into episode 3. And then I restarted the project in 2019 and rethought a lot of my approach to how to actually tell this story, but I still wanted to reflect and respect the thoughts and the feelings that I had at that time that kind of made this story come about, and try to see how I could tell that in the best possible way. Yeah.
Cool. I think
Yeah.
people have been there's a Latin American folks here pointing out that you have a lot of fans from Latin America, which is awesome. Got a worldwide following. um, I think they were basically asking the same thing about,
Okay.
where did you come up with the idea of the world, right? Um,
Yeah.
Etchi wants to know, how did you meet myself and Patrick and the voice actors?
Oh, do you guys wanna? I just talked a little bit. Do you guys wanna say how we each met?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, so I actually met Sif through like Newgrounds. We were pretty heavily involved in a lot of the Newgrounds. I was involved with Newgrounds music and sound, and Sif was involved with Newgrounds animations. I had uploaded a lot of my music to Newgrounds for games and animations, and people used it. I think Sif used one of my like post rock, shoegaze rock songs in one of her early, really early animations.
Yeah.
And I think I really enjoyed her work, and I think that's when we continued to work with each other. That song was from like 2008. So you remember it was called Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Whenever that was
Don't look
uploaded,
back, I
that
think.
was the first time. Yeah, Don't Look Back. That was the first project that her and I were involved in. Not super directly, but it started the connection we had to continue to work, like actually collaborating. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, me. I was briefly working in. I suppose calling it a bar is a real understatement, right, Sif? This is like a
Well,
very, very strange.
is it a pub when it's an island? Isn't everything a pub? Sorry,
Yeah, but it just
I don't
depends
know
on
where
how,
the line
how creative
goes.
you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I was working in a very medieval, mysterious hole in the wall tavern called the Hole in the Wall, which is in Kilkenny City. And Kilkenny, like some of the medieval buildings in Kilkenny, are featured in the cartoon saloon movie Wolfwalkers. And I think even this building we met in might be there somewhere in the skyline because it's quite old. Um, and I was basically playing as a Skyrim NPC in this bar I was working in.
Oh,
Um,
you were a little bit more than
and
that because you set up all the board games. That was like the main reason why everybody came. That and it had some very nice.
I get such a thing.
Hmm?
I get such a thing out of facilitating fun and board games. And when I was in this medieval style tavern, it was such a crushing thing to me that there wasn't some kind of games and things going on in this old cobbledy raftery building. And every week, just loads of fantastic, colorful characters would come by and like just play loads of cool board games. And Sif would turn up every week, and whether we were trying to catch Jack the Ripper or trying to do some dungeon delving or destroy the One Ring or whatever else was going on, Sif was always there in the thick of it, and we just got on really well and kept in touch. And yeah,
Yeah.
ended up
Then when
talking
I
about
was
foxes
asking
and
around
them.
for a sound designer, you came and contacted me, and that was, perfect. Just yes, come on, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
excuses to play remotely. So yeah, I was super happy to get back in touch, and I kind of couldn't believe when I found Sif's work that it was like centered around like some of my favorite creatures, like foxes and owls, and yeah, so that was a coincidence that was too good to let go of, and I'm really happy to be here with.
Yeah, it was great. Also, Sif, I think we should call out Nick for being amazing for
Yes,
previous
absolutely.
episodes
Oh
for
yes.
doing the
Yeah.
mixing.
His computer cannot run streaming or calls in any way, so there was no way he was going to be able to join here. But Nick has done an amazing job on the sound mixing, and he's also been through and like done a little bit of tweaking and sound design in there so that we could just get on with things rather than having to get retakes and retakes sometimes.
Yeah.
Like he just goes above and beyond every time, and he's also done the sound mixing on the previous Tales of Zale episodes.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
Nick really made all of this so yeah, so easy to work on the feedback and to kind of keep the communication going and everyone informed. And yeah, it was you and Nick Sif, such an amazing team at like kind of drawing the web together for all the sound and the things. It was
Yeah.
brilliant.
And
Cheers
I
to Nick.
Yeah, and I think I also met Nick on Newgrounds, if I recall. It's hard to tell. It's been a long while. The same goes for a lot of the voice actors, although some of them also have, auditioned or joined through Twitter and everything. I keep all of my auditions open because it's very rare that I cast somebody ahead of time. I like the open auditions. It's nice to, get to work and discover new people and everything. But so that's how I met most of them.
So Zale and Elva have been around since the first episodes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. And Seesum, honestly, I think next to Zale, I think Seesum is my personal favorite character. He just exudes the like charisma and kind of mischievous character that I have sometimes.
Yeah.
So I definitely relate to Seesum the most. But voice actor for Seesum, Elisa Park, yeah, she's awesome, and she's done a lot of similar projects with me and Sif in the past. And actually, I currently I do for a living. I'm a game audio director, and I have worked with her on game projects as well. So I was so happy to have Elisa with us.
Yeah, the world is small, and once you know some good people to work with, you really gotta hold them tight because, just
Hmm.
it's precious. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So Silky asked a few minutes ago, "Hey Sif, how did you learn to animate?" I want to know
And
too.
well, I'm gonna keep it short. Because otherwise we could be here all day and just talk about that. But I started animating fan flashes, just little flash animations based off of animes that I liked, that I put online on YouTube and a little later Newgrounds. Um, and then some folks would challenge me and say like, "Oh, this tweening that doesn't look very good," and then I would feel challenged, and then I would try to make some original animations as well that was a little bit more complicated and frame by frame drawn, and then it kind of built on each other. And I think that was around the time that I started entering animation tournaments as well, which was where Matthew came into the picture too. And yeah, I just built on that experience until I got into the animation workshop where I learned a whole bunch as well.
Yeah, those tournaments were crazy. Sif was, I'll admit, Sif was a hard carry for me for those. We basically wiped the floor, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh."
The secret to animation tournaments is that if you're able to finish an animation in 3 weeks, like a 2 to 3 minutes animation that has a full story, you are probably gonna make it to the
Well,
finals.
don't tell them
Like,
the secrets.
so I don't know if they do animation tournaments anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
good luck to anyone
actually
else
being
out there.
able to finish stuff is very valuable.
Yeah, I think having more of a coherent plan, I think that's really what does it. A lot. I've seen a lot of those animations. They're kind of like, sure, they look great, but like it's kind of sometimes they're missing like a really strong plot, or something
Yeah.
that's really strong within a very short context. And I think previous episodes, I thought it was a little bit of a challenge to do music scores for a scene that's only 30 seconds long, because you only
Mhm.
have so much time to express what's happening musically for a scene that's only 30 seconds. I mean, the context of an 11-minute short film, that's a little bit better, but a feature film, that's what is it? 45 minutes is what a feature film is.
Mhm.
So doing a feature, yeah, you're talking about scenes, you're talking about 5-10 minutes of music, right?
Yeah,
And it's
it
a
gives you
little,
a lot more room to like make leitmotifs and that sort of stuff as well, and kind of,
yeah.
yeah, create something to build upon.
A lot of people here are asking about plot related stuff, about like, are foxes endangered in this series? Like, where are the other foxes? Is where is Zale's
Oh,
family? I
I,
think,
I can I can
but
answer the endangered question pretty quickly because I did have some thoughts about that originally, and that was that I thought that cats would probably take over the fox niche, so that there would not be a
Hmm.
lot of foxes left. I don't know about the biological and scientific, weight behind that, but that was kind of how I came about with it being like with foxes being rare in this world. So, fun little tidbit.
you don't want to give away too
I'm
many
very happy
stories.
that I don't have my little fox book to hand here. Like at the start of the stream, I was like, God, I wish I had that here, but I would just be like flicking constantly and like filling in the gaps with kind of fun but probably annoying facts on all of these things. Did you know that foxes have adapted to more climates and ecosystems than any other mammal?
Yeah, they are pretty versatile. I do think that since they are omnivorous and everything, the cats probably wouldn't be able
Mm.
to outcompete them. But as an apex predator in the ecosystem and everything, that was kind of where I was coming from.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Did you know that a fox can eat 11 little pygmy shrews and they will be perfectly well fed for the day, or one bag of chips?
Oh yeah,
someone
absolutely.
here is talking about Tales of Zale video game, and I that's all I do. I just like music. I like video games, and that's pretty much it for me. So I've been asking Sif this question since day one. When do we get a Tales of Zale video game?
Well, I don't know. I can't make video games. I can animate. I have plenty to dig into with just learning to tell stories in the film format. But I would love to see a video game
So are
as
we
well.
talking about? All right, if you had all of the resources in the world to make a video game and ship it by next year,
Mhm.
what kind of game would it be? What are we talking, like a fighting game? Talking about RPG, MOBA, or
I
like a first person shooter? I don't know.
Kart racer, maybe.
Right? Kart racer.
I I actually think that I mean, in terms of the charm and style and everything, I do think that it would be very nice with a pixel exploration game. Like I would love to see a little Tales of Zale platformer, since they have like Zale and
Oh
Elva
yeah.
have different mobilities. It's not the sort of game that would get out to the biggest audience, but getting to explore the ruins through that sort of world and setup through the different movement systems, I think would be very nice. I also think for simplicity's sake, like you could also do one of those what are the point and click games where you can just go through a very crowded ruin and try to find specific things, and that sort of thing. I think could be fun with some visual novel stuff. So I keep it pretty niche and pretty simple, but I just those are the sort of games that I just would love to see for Tales of Zale.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a question here
Me,
for
me too,
Patrick.
but I think that the chat seems to have spoken on the genre of game. It's been decided first. I think.
Oh, okay, great. What is it? It's the 2D
Yeah,
platformer?
it's
Oh.
Carts of Zale is definitely leading in the poll so far.
We'll have to do a Twitter poll for that. Pick
Oh,
out
yeah.
which game to make.
I was thinking, it might be too close to, like, too on the nose, but like the Ori and the Blind Forest, I think that would be a great style. Like, I think it already fits, but
Oh yeah.
in my opinion, I
Yeah,
think
that's
it'd be
got
cool to
sort
do
of the
something.
2D platformer as well. I guess whether it's pixel or whether it's nice artwork like Ori and the Blind Forest is kind of secondary. But yeah.
I think that's too on the
I-
nose. I think it'd be more interesting to do something like a Halo collab.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We can.
Perfect.
The
Mhm.
Bison
Or
voice
do you know the
actor.
game A Short Hike?
Oh,
It
I
was a
love that
really
game.
beautiful short. Oh,
Short.
it's so good, and it's just got that whole kind of
Yeah.
like gentle exploration, but kind of charming, quirky characters. It's
Yeah.
short, it's touching, and
I
yeah,
recommend.
God, I love that.
I recommend people check it out. It's on a lot of consoles and even on the Switch. But also on that game, that was a pretty, I would say, pretty sizable inspiration for the music for me.
Mhm.
A lot of the
Oh
acoustic
wow, really?
instruments.
I must replay it now. That's a great excuse.
Oh yeah, Tales of Zale X Doom. I just saw that. That's
Awesome.
hilarious. Patrick. So someone was asking you,
Yeah.
how did you make some of the big heavy sounds like when Zale falls through the ground? And then Sif, do you still plan to add bats in the future? So
At what?
bats.
Bats. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll answer that after Patrick.
Yeah, the heavy sounds were the heavy sounds were a lot of fun. You can Well, specifically with the falling through the floor scene, I kind of knew things were going to get a little bit more psychedelic at that point. That Sif had kind of preempted that, and it talked about the kind of backwards music with Matthew and so on. So that was kind of the moment where things were going to break through, and the kind of earthy, grounded, real world was going to be totally swept away. So I really wanted that hit to sound good, and I experimented with loads of different pieces of like broken bricks for that part. And it's funny, you obviously you can't get away with like smashing a load of things off one another to make a big heavy sound, right? Like you might think that would be the case, but that ends up sounding very sharp and very kind of piercing and not at all big and heavy. So actually the sounds that are most effective for that are quite slow, kind of gradual sounds of large bricks kind of scraping off one another. And then the surface that it was falling onto also, I experimented with like different layers of towels and how close the mic was or wasn't to the ground made a big difference. And the only other big heavy sound that I can think of was the big plush. And that was one of the things I remember seeing in the animatic and going, "Oh, I can't wait to make that sound." Big dusty dusty plush falling down. And for that I ended up using a Zafu, which is a buckwheat beanbaggy meditation cushion.
Oh,
And it's kind of big and squishy, and it's real kind of fun to let fall around the place, and it kind of tends to make those sounds. And yeah, I kind of drag it out from under my desk and use it every morning, so I was used to that kind of ba-dump sound.
So
But
it
those
wasn't
were
just
some of the
for
more
the
fun ones to make.
so it wasn't just for the tax write
Yeah.
off. Yeah, that was a great sound. When I first saw that clip, I was like, "Oh man, that's gonna sound awesome." I remember watching this, and part of what I do, like I do sound design as well, mostly for games. But man, I'm kind of jealous that you guys got to work on those sounds because it was like that looks like such a fun project. But obviously, I needed to put all my efforts
I
on
have
music, so
one one little weird one actually, that that ba-dump sound for the plush. um so much of that atmosphere in the room was like the dust as well, and getting the sound of dust, which doesn't really exist as well, the sound of dust in there, but that kind of feeling of things being old and kind of just that movement of air and the kind of dancing and the light coming through the window and everything. um Experimented with a lot of kind of sandy type sounds, and sand and things kind of flowing can be a little bit harsh. And what I actually ended up using for that sound was, uh, I got to double check this, but I think it's what I ended up using at the end, was the sound of a baraka dissolving.
what? What dissolving?
Do you know those little like horrible chalky vitamin drink tablets?
Oh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when you drop it in the
Oh,
water, and initially it does a very muted kind of a sizzle, and then
mhm.
eventually the baraka, like the tablet, kind of jumps up to the surface as it kind of like completely disintegrates and gets very loud and fizzy. But
I
just before that, there's a lovely kind of a dusty sound crinkling away, and that was actually the dusty sound, I think, of the plush falling.
Oh, wow. I love how, it's
Yeah,
just something entirely different from what you think it is.
yeah.
yeah, and I
With
think
extra vitamin C.
Yeah, great.
that's the thing about sound design for Foley and sound design for games as well. It's never that. It's never exactly what it is. Um, a lot of junior sound designers that I work with, they learn very quickly like, hey, if you need a rain sound, you don't go outside and just record actual rain. You go and cook bacon, and that sound is a lot more fitting to the visuals. Seriously. Um,
Uh,
Sound design secrets. Another one is like a plastic bag. If you want to do like snow sounds and you live in, Los Angeles and there's no snow anywhere, you just smack a plastic bag on with some clothes in it and it sounds like you're walking on snow.
oh,
Um,
wow.
you do whatever it takes to get the right sound. You don't actually.
Yeah.
It's never really just, hey, here's snow. Let's step in it. It usually ends up not sounding very good.
No, no, the real sound is usually not convincing. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, that's a whole other thing that we could make a whole stream about and
Oh
figure,
yeah,
like, dig into.
sure. Um,
Well,
okay.
especially one of the final one of the final experiences of like cutting things together and just getting the balance of the storm scenes just right, because there's quite a lot going on there. Um, After the sounds had been recorded, and it was kind of at the final stages of putting it together and getting the flow of it right, an actual like thunderstorm kicked in outside here that week, a couple of weeks back there, and I had to stop editing and like take breaks when there was actually thunder and lightning going on outside my window because it kept interrupting what I was actually doing.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no! Stop the thunder and lightning! I'm recording thunder and lightning.
Yeah, I know. Would you stop it out there?
It's
I'm trying to
funny.
make a storm.
It's funny how often that happens. One of my really good friends, he's like a voice dialogue recorder, game studio, and it happens to me too. When since the pandemic, a lot of voice actors record from home, and a lot of voice actors are remote. So like rain sounds, traffic, car chases, helicopters, whatever. All that stuff gets in the way, and as sound editors, we have to go back and edit that stuff out manually. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's good when you can do
There
that.
was one other little bit of that question for Sif, and I've forgotten because I got all excited about the heavy sounds.
Oh, right. What was the question?
Oh, was it about bats?
Yeah, it was bats. Okay, yes. I mean,
Bats,
at some point, yes. I don't have a specific place for bats right now.
All right, bats
bats.
confirmed. Write it down, everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
There's some more stuff here. Everyone wants to know about, will there be more Tales of Zale in the future? Episode 4 confirmed. Let's see.
Well, that's another one to dig into, isn't it? So yeah, I should probably say something about that in this Q&A stream and everything. So this episode took me like 3 years, a little bit more than 3 years to make, and I pulled out all the stops. And it was kind of planned as the finale for the web series, because in parallel to working on all of this, I've been working on developing the concept into a TV series on the side. Some of you will already remember I did a call for like testimonials and that sort of thing a year back or so, and it has been coming along. Like we finished writing episode synopses and actual episode scripts with a scriptwriter last year, and this year we got some financing to do visual development on the project as a TV series that others can work on and that works for a production budget and that sort of thing, and make a short teaser for that, like a proof of concept. So like it's not like Tales of Zale is just gonna be getting a TV series here and now. We have a studio on it, a producer on it, but we don't have a broadcaster yet. That's sort of the next step that we go for. And it might not start out in TV series form either. We might try to get some financing for a pilot or TV special or that sort of thing. But the thing is, like, so Tales of Zale as a concept has kind of been growing outside of the web series sphere for a good while now, and it has become a story that I really, really love and would really, really love to tell, because it has gotten that more development that it needed. But I want to tell it in that format. I don't, and that's with a whole new start to it, a little bit of a different approach to it, but still with the core being the same. So if Tales of Zale continues, it continues as a TV series that is fully produced and that I can make a living off of, so I don't have to do it on the side, and that we can, actually have some proper production on. So this is the finale of Tales of Zale as a web series. It might still continue, like the characters might still continue with me animating little things for them here and there. But if I recall, I think Zale's voice actor also retired from voice acting. If they are in the chat, please let me know. But I think it's a good place to end it as a web series, at least. So let's see and hope and fingers crossed and all that we get to continue it in another form. Yeah, but that's the update on that. No episode 4 in sight.
Oh man, I can hear everyone angrily typing into their tear-filled keyboards right now.
They seem more excited than sad, so that's good.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. There might be spiritual successes as well. But for me right now, at least, I think I've been sitting on this project as a web series for so long as well. I need to go out and whatever I do in my spare time needs to experiment and working on improving my skill sets and storytelling abilities more, probably in smaller formats than a 12-minute film that I make on my own, hopefully. Like, we'll see. I try to leave some uncertainty right now because I tend to always have a plan for what comes next. And I do think that uncertainty is also healthy. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
I think we'll just go with it. You know,
Yeah.
just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
Go with the flow.
There was a question here that sounds really interesting to me. It was about storyboarding. Oh, how do you determine when you've added enough content before it's cut? Do you have a set number of storyboards? And then do you have any cut content from the episode?
I do, and I do hope to show some of that because, like, I mean, now the episode is out, but I really wanna, follow up on it in a lot of different shapes and forms with talking about the journey of making it and the behind the scenes. Like that was what I made the art book for, but there's also some stuff that doesn't work so much in a book format, but where I can, talk about the storyboarding and different ways I tried to approach the scenes. There's some scenes that I like made 10 different times in different forms. It's not that there's that many extra scenes that I cut. It's just that I tried to make the same scene a lot of times in a lot of different ways before it felt right and before it worked in all the ways that I wanted it to work. So yeah, I hope I can show some cut content.
Yeah, and I think it's not usually ever just over after the video is launched. Like, there's a lot of content to share for music. There's a lot more content to share for sound. Like, I'm sure we're gonna talk about that in the
Yeah.
coming weeks, coming months, and
Hmm.
this it's very deep. It's years of work, and we can't just put it out there and say goodbye. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff we can put out there to help inspire other creative people.
Yeah. I mean, I want to dig into this episode for at least a year, like sharing material over time, on all sorts of different production fronts. I think it can be a very interesting case study for a lot of people who want to make their own animation to go through, like, how did we approach the music, how did we approach the storyboarding, how did we approach the animation, both from a technical point of view and from a creative point of view. And yeah, the form it needs to take is something that we need to settle a little bit in on. But I definitely think I'm just gonna support this episode throughout the next year at least, both in terms of behind the scenes material and in terms of going to festivals with it, and in terms of just sharing it around and all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, for sure. I think for
Yeah.
me in music, and I'll let Patrick talk about sound, but yeah, huge case study for like how music, like the theory of music for film and animation. I think it's really important to share a lot of that stuff, and also just put the content out for people to enjoy. I know people have been asking about like when are we gonna have the soundtrack? When can we listen to it? I mean, you can listen to it. At least the song at the end, it's pretty much untouched with sound, most of it. But yeah, it's something I'm going to be working on in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you follow Sif and myself, and also
Yeah.
Patrick, because yeah, we post updates pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Patrick, did you want to say something to that?
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear how resolute that you guys are about that as well, because um yeah, like I write and like release kind of super weird pop music myself, and
Listen to it.
it's
Find Patrick. He's yeah. Dr. Mindflip.
and yeah, Dr. Mindflip. But I know that there's, especially when you're working on something kind of like intensely in isolation, that's, it's not a live show, it's not something that has a kind of an ongoing presence. Like it's say an album or a video or just a piece of work that stands on its own. Like those are the things that are really interesting for me to work on. And it's something I find very challenging, is that once you've put all your work into this, years and years, and you put it out there, you do some tweeting, you retweet stuff, you contact people, and then it can just float, and you can feel kind of strange sometimes about keeping that momentum going and about sharing it. And it's it's so valuable to continue to do that. And I don't mean from a kind of a content promotion kind of a way or anything like this. Just just to enjoy and to share and to take pleasure in the thing that you've created. Like it doesn't have a sell by date. That there isn't a period of good taste by which you should stop informing people that this is out there, or what went into it.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I've really discovered that's kind of counterintuitive, especially when you're working on something on your own, when you're writing something, you kind of assume that the only thing that's appropriate to share is the polished, beautiful, hopefully diamond of whatever it is that you've finished polishing and shining up at the end. And if you think about any creators that you enjoy and you follow yourself, you realize that it's the kind of rough bits of the process and the little kind of sketches and the offshoots and the things that were discarded or reworked or evolved, like they form such a cool part of the story that is so fascinating to people that you enjoy their work. And I think it's really lovely when people share that and when they open up that part of themselves and their process, because I think that's part of the reason that people find Zale so inspiring, Sif, as well, is that that process is there and it's relatable, and that it's something that people want to kind of relate to their own experience and ambitions, whether it's in, well, any of the different fields that you've shown your expertise in here. So yeah, I think the sharing is super valuable, and the bits that aren't the exact final finished thing. It's great to let everything else out to breathe and to have a life of its own.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can assure you, I have at least 2 pages, 2 full pages screens worth on my list of Control Z history on every project file for this. There were many rough edges, and I can't wait to talk about it. And to that point as well, like
Awesome.
having it being relatable, like I recorded and produced and wrote all of the music on like a very tiny MIDI keyboard. I think episode 2, I was like using a laptop, and all I had was like a single octave little piano to write full orchestral music, and it was kind of nuts. But yeah, I mean, just I think it is super inspiring to see all the behind the scenes stuff that Sif has done. Like I'm always so impressed. Like wow, like that one shot where it shows the layers of the birds flying. Like I watched that a million times and I can't get over it.
Yeah, I
Mm.
I need to do more of that as well. I really wanted to do one for the for when the camera is going from sail jumping on top of the truck to when he's the camera pans over to the ruins and everything. My computer keeps
Mm.
crashing every time because those are very heavy shots that are really pushing it to the edge of what my computer can handle. Yeah. That was just about as much as I can do to show that. But yeah, I hope to jump a little bit more into it with showing the compositing part as well. Once we get to that part of breaking it all down. Yeah. I have a question from Bree. Is iteration mostly in the storyboards? That I can pick up on quite pretty quickly. Yes, it's both in the storyboards and in the thumbnailing stage. But I try to have things mostly locked down once I am finished with the storyboard. There are a few exceptions where things just work out differently in the animation and where I make some changes on the way. But at least for this episode, this short film, I wanted the storyboard to be as tight as possible, and it's a very tight storyboard. It's not always that we have that we spend so much time in the storyboarding phase. Like there's posing, and it's almost animated, the whole storyboard. But yeah, most of those iterations and testing out happens in the storyboard. Hello.
Cool.
Good.
Storyboards were really helpful at the first stage. I think.
Yeah.
I think you were actually sending me storyboards so that I could like start thinking about it. And I think that was literally like 2016 or something. It was nuts how long ago that
Yeah,
was.
yeah. It changed a lot from 2016. Like I started redoing it in 2019. So if you had started then, you would have wasted a lot of efforts.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it was something that was always lingering in the back of my mind that it was gonna be time to start pencils, like pushing pencils, like at some point.
Yeah,
So it's good to let those ideas marinate.
yeah, definitely. That's also why I shared it back then. It's nice to just have it in the back of your mind for a while.
H Mishi 93 asks, so when Zale was waiting with the buffalo, was he waiting for any fox to come by because he'd never seen another and just wanted to show them there were any other foxes around?
Yeah, I mean, since foxes are so rare in this universe, I think Sale had a pretty strong assumption that any fox would probably be his family, like that he's looking for. But even if it wasn't, I think him just finding somebody that he sees like himself was a big hope for him.
Yeah,
I saw a question calling for another fox fact earlier
oh
that
yeah.
I wanted to pick up on. I forgot.
Oh yeah, give us another
Um,
fox fact.
Yeah,
this is the
this
weirdest thing that I've ever read about a fox, but it has been proven through some very specific studies that oh, this is really hard to describe. Let me see. If a fox is pouncing towards some prey, like a mouse or small creature, um, if the fox happens to be south a couple of degrees of whatever they're trying to pounce on, they're nearly twice as likely to catch it successfully.
Oh,
Um, Nobody knows why, but apparently, if a fox is pouncing towards the north, towards magnetic north, they're more accurate and precise with their pounces. Nobody knows why.
that's weird. What's going on,
Yeah, right.
foxes? It's like it's like I mean, and there's a lot of animals that have magnetic senses. Birds are very famous for that in order to find their way around and everything. It's like there's a whole different world
Mm.
of senses that we do not know about and know the purpose of.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That it's something got to do with the magnetic fields, like maybe how birds navigate or migrate, and yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
so Bree has follow up then. So how long was it until the concept was locked down before you began the full animation?
I think it was around half a year as well. Like a lot of this was in half year chunks. I started. I started all the way back when I was still interning at Cartoon Saloon, just testing things out and using the folks over there as test audiences as well. But well, yeah, once I started at Open Workshop was when I really, sat down and worked out the storyboards and tried a lot of different approaches to it. And I think it was close to half a year before it was really like where I was just testing it on a lot of people, and where it was getting to the point where there was not the, any sort of nitpicks that felt outside of my own intentions left. Like there weren't anything I would consider glaring mistakes. The rest was just conscious decisions, and conscious decisions are fine. You always pick your mistakes in any project. Um, but uh, but yeah, it took a while to get there. Also because I was learning a lot on the way about yeah. Actually, in previous projects, my storyboarding has been very almost non-existent when it was there. So this was also just me learning to storyboard from the ground up, or like at least finding a good approach to it.
Yeah, and I think storyboarding for me, like also it's also helpful to have that for the rest of the team as well. Because I
Yeah.
think even during this, you used some of those storyboards for the voice actors.
Oh yeah. I mean, voice acting starts once the storyboards are somewhat locked down because I changed the script during storyboarding as well. And I actually had to re-record with a bunch of the voice actors because I thought I had locked the storyboard down back in 2018, whatever, and then I found out that they weren't quite done after all. But yeah, I mean, I need the voice recordings to animate from, so I don't like. It's when the storyboard is just about there that the voice actors get it, and that we start recording, and then it can be ready to animate.
That's crazy. I don't think a lot of people know that maybe like the voices were there super early.
Yeah.
I did manage to dig something out. So on the stream, I found that like this kind of storyboard thing that you gave me, right, with the tension and stuff, that board. So I have it sharing right now on the screen.
Mhm.
So this is like a really helpful tool that I was working with from start to finish, and Tiff had laid out all of these notes for different music tracks, and kind of the little graph here shows like the intensity of the music. So this is mostly locked in, but we changed a lot of it and iterated on a lot of this. But this is also something that the some of the behind the scenes material that Sif may show later in the future, and some that I might as well.
Yeah.
Is there a
Yeah. I
scene?
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, no.
I was gonna ask another question, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I mean, this one was like I hadn't seen that being done before, or like I didn't have any sort of reference for if this was a thing that got done for productions and for music and everything. But I personally just needed to visualize what my thoughts were on the music and the parts of the timeline that would have a lot of music and which parts would not have a lot of music. So that was my way of trying to communicate that across, at least.
Yeah, and it was very helpful. I've seen similar things. It's mostly just in a storyboard, but yeah, I think this was the most effective tool.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we have a few more minutes because I need to go at the half hour.
Yeah,
There's a question
that seems
here.
fair.
Is there a scene that took ages to draw?
Yes. Well, there are a few of those. Um, I think the one that comes to mind immediately is when Elva goes outside of her hollow and into the storm, and when Sesam afterwards jumps out and also tries to fly into the storm. Um, I was lucky enough to have Mira Hild doing the animation for that part, because that was a shot I really dreaded. I had storyboarded it with a lot of poses already, and I knew that it was just gonna be a little bit of a hell to go through, because it's the sort of thing where you can't do any holds because the wind is blowing in, in all of the feathers and everything. So it's just like a fully frame by frame, so many frames, and it felt like it took forever as well. So Mira did the animation, but I did the cleanup, and as mentioned, cleanup kind of takes at least twice, or at least twice the time of animation. So I sat for a long time with that shot and that little scene there, and not to talk about all the effects that had to be animated for it as well. Like the most of the raindrops and like the little dusts, water dust that you see in the animation is all hand drawn. A lot of it is not like some of the raindrops are reused, but a lot of it is not, because it needs to interact with the surroundings. So it's just very tedious. Um, so a lot of the rain scenes took a long time to make.
Yeah, and it's dense with sound and music and dialogue. So everyone, I think everyone could agree that it was probably the most work for everyone else too, right?
It was ambitious, yes.
Yeah.
I managed to get that scene playing while you're talking about it, so everyone. context.
Yeah, I can see that's good. Yeah, rain, so much rain.
If you could feature yourself as an animal in Tales of Zale, what would it be? That's a great question.
Oh yeah,
think-
I've gotten that question before, so I have the answer ready. It would be a pine marten.
What is that?
Ooh.
They're very sweet little creatures. It's I don't know how to it's a pine marten. It's in the same family as wolverines, but also the smaller, longer ones that I can't remember what they're called
Like a
in
marsupial?
English. Kind of ferret-ish.
Minks and
Yeah, minks. Yeah,
weasels.
very
Oh,
close to
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but a little
They're
bit more
Australian.
great
for.
climbers, aren't they? The pine
Yeah,
martens. They've got like wicked climbing claws.
yeah. They look a little bit like mini red pandas, but without all the markings on them. They're very cute, but also
Yeah.
nice animal.
Well, as I remember
Uh,
early in the
How about
episode.
you, Matthew?
Oh, me? Oh my gosh, I love axolotls.
Mm.
So maybe if there's more
oh,
amphibious sea creatures,
Ooh.
please. But I think I might be a squirrel. So that's kind of fitting for me.
yeah.
Definitely a squirrel.
Everybody's just red animals. How about you, Patrick?
Yeah, right.
Red animal?
Oh, that's yeah. I'm running out of red animals to think about. Um, I think it would be something like right now that's coming to me is just like something just hiding in the ruins, watching everything and seeing everything unfold, like a crow or a little lizard or something. It's just kind of slowly watching things going by. I don't know why.
Yeah. The observer. I'm
Mm.
gonna send a link in the chat because Doctor asks about the book. Oh no, they asks about if there are more books that they can use their money on. That
Oh
will
yeah.
be a little while. It took me a while just to write this one.
Someone said, Aletha said, I remember an early episode there where was this white rabbit, now I see it as a spiritual white fox.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason for this character?
Yeah. So this is kind of a concept that I've let go of a little bit more over the time. To start off with, the white rabbit was just meant to represent the Sale's driving force, like the mysteries and the unexplained, pulling him forward. But now it's taking a little bit more shape to be a fox, which I guess is a little bit more transitioning into his current, driving force, which is to find his family, and that's something that's developed a little bit over the time of the web series being worked on and the TV series being developed on in parallel. But yeah, I always saw these spirit animals as these the representation of all the intangible things that you can't explain next to the very tangible ruins that you can explain. And it's I always wanted that presence to be able to take a lot of different shapes. So this time around it just took fox shape. And that's what made the bison say that he had seen a fox before and made Sale get pulled into the waiting game.
Everyone likes barn owls. I have clarified what the species and genome name is. I'm gonna be the resident Tales of Zale zoologist.
Yes,
Get
good.
music and just be a zoologist.
Maybe we'll have to
Awesome.
make a Tales of Zale zoology book with just the animals
That would
featured in
be
Tales of
really
Zale.
interesting.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
Fun facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, while we're at it, here's an article about the magnetic foxes.
Ah, great. Are you gonna link that in the chat?
Yeah, there we go. Just
Good.
All right, I think it's time. I need to end the stream here, unfortunately. So if you guys want
That's
to
fair enough.
continue, maybe you could stream on your end. But
I mean, you're the stream host, and I think it's also a nice link for a Q&A. I think there'll definitely be other opportunities to dive a little bit more into other aspects of the episode and the short film, and our approach to it. But I think it should be good for now. Thank you so much to everybody who have been watching and following along this time around. Yeah, thank you for asking some very good questions that we could
Yeah.
definitely dig into. I hope that we can get to cover more behind the scenes stuff. And if you have any wishes for stuff that you'd like to see covered, you're also very welcome to comment that. Because I'm staying open to possibilities at the moment. I will, yeah. Do you guys want to say some final words as well?
Yeah, I really appreciate everyone coming here and asking questions and paying a lot of attention to all of the hard work that Sif has put in. Not even just the what you could see visibly, but all of the behind the scenes stuff that we don't get to see. Hopefully, we'll see it more as it comes along. And I'm really happy that people are liking the voice acting, the sound, and the music, and all the production that goes into that. Very near and dear to me. But yep. Thank you.
Patrick?
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to see and to have a discussion that's so inclusive of the work and so appreciative of all the little pieces in between that kind of go like slipping between the cracks most of the time. And yeah, I feel really encouraged and happy to be part of the team and chatting to you guys. You're so supportive, and yeah, it's been really, really nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just gonna plug a little bit. Like, if you guys haven't seen, we have I made a behind the scenes making of book where I delve a little bit more into the making of, more so than what I've done so far online. There's also, if you are in Copenhagen, there's an exhibition in Copenhagen about Tales of Zale, and it's running until Sunday. I'll be there. Some of you guys in the chat, like Doctress, have already been there. It's nice to see some online faces in real life. I know most of you aren't in Denmark, but I'll mention that it's there anyways. I'll send some pictures on the social medias once it's done or something.
Yes, please. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Sorry, what?
I said, yes, please do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I think we will check out now. Bye.
Bye.
And Matthew is the one hitting the button. No,
Bye.
wait, I
Thanks,
am.
everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.